Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have another channel on astrology and a Facebook page on which I write prophetic writings. The usual caveat, there are individuals who are impersonating me, using my identity to do harm, illegal activities, fraudulent activities, they're under investigation. For the current video, for this video, God has guided me to come back to a previous topic, which I mentioned basically at Halloween celebration, on the Halloween evening, and that is the Neuralinks, basically a project in using technology to write human behavior onto human brain. Yeah. And God has guided me to go back to this topic because this is a turning point, extremely important into the current phase of the ascension, is extremely important for the ascension overall. I asked God, why is this important? Of course, I asked so I can understand, but also to explain in the video, because they have been using technology before. It's not new. Maybe this technology is new, but they have done this before. They've been using black magic, witchcraft, sorcery, and necromancy, and all of that. So, and I asked, why is this important? And God showed me that it is important from because of the timing when they do this. So what happens is that at the end of last year, 2021, we had a situational karmic cycle ending. Yeah. And that I explained in other videos, ended certain agreements, let's call it, created between big powers, which actually had a global impact on everybody's life. And this is, of course, the Yalta Agreement and the end of the two world wars, which led to a certain negotiation and agreement about division of power, balance of power globally, which has been presented to the public only in deceiving ways, but it's been hiding a lot of hidden bondages. I explained in the video about Yalta Agreement that basically the negotiations and agreements were based on creating bondages on us. Bondage means generational curses, sacrifice rituals, crucifixion, and so on, and the use of these practices in order to steal divine rights from those who actually were bestowed blessing from the divine to lead people and to create on earth. Now, of course, certain individuals have been carrying spiritual fighting throughout all this time. And I want to emphasize, because I have started my spiritual fighting consciously rather late, towards the end, during the last cycle, karmic cycle, from my own bondage and my own generational curse and so on. Hence, I made references to current era, and also some references to historical moments of bondage creation. But I would like to emphasize, particularly because I myself have at least one ancestor who raised me as a child, and who carried out spiritual fighting in a very difficult time when I was a very small child. So there are individuals who have been carrying out spiritual fighting always. We just didn't know about them because that was a survival mode time when all of this information, which now is public, was forbidden, was hidden, was life-threatening if you would have talked about it, particularly in this country, in Romania, where Communist party was extremely brutal in exterminating individuals and so on. So I would like actually to take this opportunity to mention that there's always been individuals who have done spiritual fighting. There always were brave men and women who actually carried out God's work in even worse conditions than we have nowadays, because we benefit of the ascension, which is a strategy launched by God to support the spiritual fighting of bondage breaking. Yeah, this is very important, and I just feel like I owe this, particularly to my ancestor who left me a huge inheritance, everything that he created in his entire life, which I am receiving now, and I fought to take it back from those who stole it from me, and so on. So I feel like I owe this to my ancestor, to mention the fact that there's always been individuals who've been carrying out this fight, even if we didn't know about it, and they were not so publicly praised like we are today, and they did not have the tools that we have now. They did not have the chance, for example, to make a YouTube video and talk about being targeted and gang stalked and so on. But they went through the same experience, even if they didn't have the chance to speak up the truth of their spiritual fighting. Yeah. So I'm deeply grateful to my ancestor, and I just want to mention that they have done this. But coming back to the current moment, this is very important, because God says now, because of this conjuncture moment, so a situational karmic cycle ended last year, and now we come full circle 1 year of spiritual court judgment and deliberating punishments on them, giving chances for repentance, and so on. And basically, throughout all this year, these individuals at high level, so-called leadership, have been negotiating, have been trying to impose different, a new situational karmic cycle. So this is extremely important, because we stand the chance now to actually look very seriously at what is going on, to reflect on the depth of this situation, of this moment, when basically the entire balance of power globally is being negotiated among these creeps. And of course, they are trying to recreate the same type of bondage, even if not exactly the same bondage, but the same type of stolen inheritance, spiritual and material, of stolen divine rights, of keeping basically status quo of 3D. So God said the importance of these Neuralinks and all the associated occult practices that they have been carrying out at this end of the year are important from this perspective. So everybody has to take a step back, because each of us, of course, have been fighting own spiritual fighting and battles to break personal bondage or lineage bondage and so on. But taking a step back will help us look at a global picture to understand what are the consequences. And of course, I will carry out God's wish to convey the message that it's important, particularly for those who have been involved in bondage creation, to understand that to the extent to which they decide to continue to create darkness and bondages on others, and to refuse to repent, to redeem, and to work with God, they literally put themselves into the same camp of criminals which have created the 3D. So they need to understand that they need to take a step back and to fully grasp the fact that they are given a chance now, as the situational karmic cycle ended last year, and the divine judgment and punishment is carried out, and it's coming to full circle of 1 year at the Karmic board meeting in December, and to understand that this is a chance for them to take a step forward and to switch camps and start working with God. It's always, of course, a very difficult choice to make, because, as I said, most of them are very focused on personal gain and personal situation, and they focus on the house they're losing, they focus on the car they're losing, on the job they're losing. So for this reason, most of them have been refusing to do redemption, which is a pity, but this is the way it is. Now, this is a warning, essentially, which God asked me to convey, namely that they need to think carefully what they're doing, and to understand very seriously the choice they're making. It's not just tit for tat, one convent to one convent, or one neighborhood to another neighborhood, one individual to another individual. This is a much larger, much grander and overarching situation with implications, and they take upon themselves consequences of that choice, of a choice made to recreate something, or to contribute into recreating something which came to a close through spiritual fighting and God's will. Now, this, in my personal opinion, this is not going to happen. This is why we have the ascension. But this is God's message, and in my view, God's message mainly aims to give them one more chance to fully understand what choice they're making and what are the consequences and implications of the choice. And that, again, it's God's will. To my mind, God has given them too many chances, basically. But this is God's message that He asked me to convey now, namely that they really need to grasp the impact of the decision they make. This is just not 2-3 people and the decision they make. It does not concern just them or the person that they hate and they want to steal from. This is something much bigger than that. And if they don't want to understand, then they will feel the consequences. But this is a warning. In this phase, what I can report with dismay is that I have noticed a lot of attacks, and of course this Neuralinks technology is related to this, whereby they have tried for a long time to basically split divine couples in order to be able to steal gifts and to pit one against the other, individuals from the same lineage, individuals which were supposed to be in divine couples, in order to be able to steal from both of them, basically. And they used the doppelgangers, which usually are men or women, of course, but more importantly, at least to what I have seen, they have used women who infiltrate, let's say, divine couples, or to be more precise, because they have been some steps ahead of us, they succeeded to actually plant their own doppelgangers in somebody's life before you even got to meet your divine counterpart. Anyhow, at this point in time, what I noticed with dismay is that since they saw that they did not succeed with this strategy because of our spiritual fighting and because of us staying in light on our own without the fucking divine partner, yeah, then they now they figure out they can actually switch the agenda and they can present the doppelgangers, which up until now were stealing my identity or your identity as a divine feminine. So they were stealing the identity of the divine feminine with all sorts of glamour magic, with all sorts of witchcraft and so on, and slander and smearing campaigns and so on and so forth. And now they want to present these hoes, these sluts of doppelgangers, as alternative to the divine masculine. Because you see, the divine masculine has been so evil and has done so much harm, then how about we use Neuralinks and other technology to rewrite the human brain and to make you believe in same-sex couples, and how this is going to solve the issue of divine couples not coming together or doing harm to each other. Now, I have made videos before, and I took the chance of stating clearly divine guidance and divine wisdom about this thing with same-sex choices and options and style of living. And I explained from the very beginning that this is not reality, this is mind programming, and that there are individuals who are doing this. And I even explained in many ways how they do it. And up until now, they have been doing this with the hope, I explained, to feed their own leaders. I find it petty. I find it stupid and cheap, everything related to this, because it's just, you're just a sour loser. You just lost, and you're not even capable to have the dignity to accept the fact that you lost the battle. And the divine masculine, of course, has his own faults, but you will never be an alternative to the divine masculine. You're just a slut, that's all you are. And you're selling yourself and your body for money. That's it. That's it. You do not get to create new philosophy and to teach us how to choose and who to choose. And no matter what you do, you're not divine. Do you understand? You're not divine. You're some sort of creep. And yet I still stand to learn from God where the fuck these individuals came from that are doing this doppelganger job for the Matrix. But I'm pretty sure they don't come from the same race with most humankind. Anyhow, the point is, this is the situation currently. God asked me to warn everybody about these developments. This is a development generated by all the occult practices and technological support which was launched during the Halloween. As I said in that video, the Halloween as a celebration was created as occult practice, a ritualic practice, which literally created the bondages and the entrapment and enslavement of divine beings in order to be able to create the 3D, trapping divine beings into this creation, this madness which they created, so they can feed on them, of course, because, as I said before, they are incapable of creating their own light. And I would stand to say that not necessarily so much incapable, but unwilling to do it. Yeah, because God can create light in everyone if they choose to do so. But of course, these individuals choose not to, because of course it's easier to feed on others, particularly if you have all sorts of organizations, convents, and Masonic cults, and so on, and church religious practices, religious spirituality, and so on, which are more than willing to work for you, to do energy harvesting for you, and feed you So you're always, all your life, like a spoiled brat which is being fed without making any kind of effort into it. So yeah, for this reason, they don't feel like they should make an effort to work for creating light for themselves or for the world. Okay, now basically these are the messages. One has been related to this recent development and the Halloween occult practices and technological technology adopted in order to recreate this. They do this again, I want to emphasize, in order to blur the vision and to influence the choices of individuals, so people will not do redemption, so people will not turn to God, so they will buy time. This is what God is whispering to me. So they will buy time in order for them to be able to finish negotiations behind curtains, and to redistribute power and re-establish a different balance of power by literally selling contracts on us. Recreating the 3D basically. And this is why they need this new technology. Now, this was one message, and the warning was basically move on and make your decisions, because you're just giving more chances to these individuals to continue to recreate bondages on you and on others. This is one thing. And another thing is the new strategy which these individuals have, literally to, how you say this in English? To replace the divine masculine with stupid sluts women who have been doppelgangers before, up until now. And now they figure they fed on the divine masculine long enough, so they have enough masculine energy stolen from them, and they can be literally the divine masculine, since they did not succeed of embodying the divine feminine, because the women, the divine feminine, fought the spiritual fighting and they stood in light. Then now they figure the same stupid hoes women, they can embody the divine masculine and be together with the divine feminine in the same couple, the same sex couple, which to me is mind-blowing how stupid they can be and to what extent they can go in refusing to work with God and to take the chance of redemption and doing their fucking repentance and creating for themselves. Anyhow, this is the message. I will stop here. I hope this gives a little bit more clarity to the current situation. I really hope that you take in consideration these messages which come from God, and will help you to understand maybe better your hesitation in making the right choice. Or if you are on already on a spiritual path of spiritual fighting and breaking bondage, I hope this will give you clarity, and you will find strength in this information to understand that we are in a critical moment, and that basically the intensification of attacks and of darkness and energy work against us only shows that we are winning, and it's just their desperation to actually somehow buy time, somehow make people make the wrong choices, and at least stall or just waste time, anything. Basically, it is really a desperation of trying anything that works, anything that can actually get them out of the divine punishment. Now, of course, before I close up, I will mention also the responsibility of the law enforcement and the justice system in bringing divine justice into 3D. And of course, for them, it goes the same. namely that you will pay if you block divine justice in 3D for those who actually carried out spiritual fighting and broke the bondage and proved the bondage creation against them, and all that comes with it, including stolen identities, stolen divine rights, stolen material goods, and so on. You will pay. And you will pay much more than the criminals, because you had the power and you were bestowed by God into that position. And if you are not bestowed by God into that position, and you're put in that position by these criminals, and you are paid to cover up for them, then you will still pay more than them, because you helped them cover. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end this now, and I will see you in my next video.